Hello and welcome to Stride ERP training. In this video, I will show you how to schedule performance appraisals for your employees. In order to get started, you need to do a few things in Stride. All right, in order to set this up, the first one is you need to configure the appraisal periods in Stride. You need to assign KPIs, key performance indicators, to the employee, and I'll show you where this is done. And you also need to assign goals to the employee. All right, so all these are normally done at the beginning of the year, or if depending on your organization, it may be done quarterly, but all this can be done at the beginning of the year. So to get started, we'll go right to Stride. So in Stride, I'll show you how to configure the appraisal period. So this is the appraisal period screen, and the appraisal period is basically where you tell Stride how often or how frequent your appraisals, how frequently you conduct appraisals in your organization. So if it's monthly, this is where you set it up. If it's quarterly, again, this is where you set it up. So for organizations that run monthly appraisals, what you want to do is set the period. So you have to set a 12-month period. The first one, so the first thing to do is click New Appraisal Period. Select the date when or in which the appraisal is due, or the date when managers or front line managers are expected to submit or hand over or to complete the performance appraisals for the employees. So if, let's say, and the second part here, actually, the second half of the screen shows the appraisal period, so the review period, the period that the employee is being appraised for. Okay, so let's start with the appraisal period. So let's do for January. Let's set it for January 1st to January 31st. So this is the review period. So performance, so the employee's performance from January 1st to January 31st is due. Okay, we can select, let's say, February 4th. So this date is the date when managers are expected to have completed all appraisals for their employees. And this is the date when they are expected to submit those appraisals. Now, this date is important because Stride uses has a notification system for this, so it sends emails to managers reminding them that appraisals are due for submission on the 4th of February. Okay, so I can schedule this, and this 2021. So if again, you do it for January, you do the same thing for February, March, April, May, all the way to December. That's if you run monthly appraisals. If your organization is one that does, let's say, quarterly, again, you select the from date. The to dates will now fall on March 31st. So that's the appraisal period, and this date will have to change. So here we can move it to, let's say, the 5th, April 5th. So any date, you can pick any date here. Okay, so now for quarterly, it means for the first quarter, for Q1, okay, appraisal for Q1 is due for submission on the 5th of April. Okay, so managers, again, will be reminded by Stride that they need to conduct all appraisals for all the employees on or before this due date here. So it sends an email to them, to each line manager or anyone that has an employee reporting to him. Okay, so this is how it works. Again, 6 months. If you have a 6-month appraisal period, again, you go all the way to June. Okay, so January 1st to June 30th, and you change the appraisal dates to maybe sometime in July, where they are expected to submit or to have conducted all appraisals for the employees. Okay, so that's how that works. Okay, once you do, you're done with that, you submit it. Again, like I said, for the 12-month period, you have to do 12 of those. For 6 months, you do 2 of those. So one in from January to June, and another from July to December. And this is how you schedule the appraisal period. Now, the second part we're going to talk about is assigning KPIs. So what are KPIs? KPIs are key performance indicators. So each employee, this is basically, these are items that you, or not items, things that you score or you assess your employees against, right? So if it's the KPIs for an accountant, may be different for the KPIs for an architect. So to assign KPIs, you do that from here. So HR administration, performance appraisals, KPI assignments. Okay, so these KPIs, you build the KPIs under KPI. All right, so this is where you add the KPIs. Okay, so you can add as many things as you want, any scoring or things, indicators that you score or assess your employees against, accountability, effective negotiations, and so on and so forth. Once you've entered the KPIs in here, so this you enter one KPIs one after another. This is now where you assign a group of KPIs to a job position, to a title, to to a job title. Okay. So now the employee we're going to be using for this example is an admin assistant. Okay, so admin manager. So now to assign KPIs to this individual, I select the job title here, and the system gives me a list of all the KPIs in the system. And now I am expected to select the ones, all the KPIs that fit this role, this admin manager role. So we already have some pre-configured. So I have here leadership, administration, and so on and so forth. So I have a whole bunch of KPIs that we've already assigned to this admin manager. So you can see attitude, motivation, business process, policy compliance, comes to work early, innovation, dress ethics. Those were not selected because maybe, let's say they did not apply to admin manager. I will select punctuality because I want to add that. And yeah, so that's it. So we'll select all this and submit. Okay. So I just added one, so I'm just going to submit it. So now you can see that punctuality is part of the admin manager KPIs. If I select accountant, the accountant has fewer than the admin manager, so they have different KPIs assigned to them. Okay, so now that's the second thing. The third one is assigning goals. So you have to assign goals to employees. So you see, assigning KPIs is not done to an employee. KPI is done at the job title level. So once you assign KPIs to a job title, every employee in the organization that has that job title will inherit the KPIs that you've given to that job title. Okay, and I'll show you where this comes into play. So the third one is assigning goals. Okay, so you assign goals at the employee level. Creating goals, we do have training videos on that. So you may want to look up the knowledge base for videos on how to create goals in this and how to create goals in the system. But now to assign goals, you go to the employee. Okay, so employee, you can find the employee under HR administration, employees. You click there and it takes you, go into the employee profile. And here we can see we're going to use Joe Biden as an example. We can see here that Joe Biden is, so if I go to his job, I can see here that he is an admin manager. Okay, so remember we assigned KPIs to an admin manager. So he is an admin manager. So those KPIs that we assigned or that we modified earlier will apply to him and all other employees in the system that have this job title, admin manager job title. So we go to employee goals. Okay, Joe Biden's goals, I can see here that he has goals assigned to him. So he has, in the month of January, he is expected to generate $500,000 in profits. Between the month of January 1st and December 31st, he's expected to generate $300,000 in revenue. And February 1st to February 28th, is to ensure that all IT systems are compliant with security policies. So the dates are important. So in January, all he is expected to do is generate $500,000 in profit. That's all. Actually, he has two things to do. One is this, and the other one is um, he's expected to have or start working on tasks that have to do with this goal, the goal of generating $300,000 in revenue. And this he is to accomplish between January 1st and December 31st. This first one he's expected to accomplish in the month of January. Okay, ensure all IT systems are compliant with security policies. That starts in February. So again, when appraising him for the month of January, I did not really expect to see February related goals. Okay, so now let's go set up the appraisal. Okay, so here you can see pending appraisal. So what Stride does, this whole process is automated. Okay, so I showed you earlier how to configure the appraisal periods. So what Stride does is that at the end of the period, it auto-generates a set of appraisals or appraisals for all employees using their KPIs and their goals for the period that you selected. So we did January. We did ours monthly. We did it actually before this training. We set it up monthly. So Stride, what it has done now is you can see Joe Biden has appraisals for the month of January. So this was auto created by Stride. Now, if you want to manually create an appraisal, you can always go in here and select the name of the employee. Okay. Select the appraisal date. So these are for ad hoc appraisals. You can select the appraisal date. So that's the date that the appraisal is to be done, is to be completed. So let's say February 5th, and you can select the period. Okay. So this can be done manually, but Stride does it automatically for you. Okay. So I can select this. And this is normally good. I mean, if you have, let's say, a quarterly appraisal schedule, and you have an employee that just rolled off of probation in the middle of the appraisal window, you can always come in here to schedule an ad hoc appraisal just for that employee that came out of probation. Okay, so so we can see Joe Biden here. He's just we can see the month of January. Okay, so I go in here, I click appraise. What I expect to see here is I expect to only see goals for the month of January, and I also expect to see KPIs that apply to his role when I click on appraise. So let's see if that happens. Yeah, so now I have a window that shows the goal, generate $500,000 in profit. That was expected to run between January 1st and January 31st. Generate $300,000 in revenue. That was expected to run the length of the entire year. So I see those two. He had a third one, but that third one starts in February. As you can see here, I've gone back to that screen. So he has two that fall in the month of January, and the third one that starts in February. So now I've gone to run his appraisal. I can see just the two for January because this appraisal is for January. And his key performance indicators, I can see punctuality, leadership, and so on and so forth, so all the way down to the bottom. Now, how do I appraise him? Okay, punctuality, yeah, it was early 100% of the time. This is great. Okay, now you can see here also for goals, Stride is telling you that the maximum score for goals is 10 and the maximum score for KPIs is 10. So here, the bottom part is KPIs, and from here to here is goals only. So for the KPI, okay, punctuality, I can give him a 10. Okay, generate 500 in profit. So if he did meet his target, and give him a 10 here. Not did not start, uh, did not meet target. Okay, so here I can give him a 7. Okay, so as you're doing that, I mean, you can do the whole thing at once, or you can save as draft. Okay, so I can work on it, and if I need to go to some other thing, I can save as a draft. But just keep in mind that, okay, let's save this as a draft. So it's been saved as a draft. It's saying 16%. He has 27 out of a total score of 170, which is expected. So he has 16%. But that's because we saved it halfway. All right, now if I need to go back to this appraisal to continue this appraisal later, I can always go to HR administration, go to performance appraisal, and then go to appraisal history. I should see Joe Biden's appraisal history there. Okay, and my I can continue my appraisal from here. So I can go to edit. I can continue uh, the continue working on what was left of the appraisal. Okay. Now, as soon as I'm done appraising him, okay, there is a submit button here. I submit it, and it goes right to uh, the HR department or an authorized user for approval. But just to let you know, this is HR, so supervisors would actually see theirs from here, team profile. So supervisors can see team profile, team performance, and that gives them access to their employees only. HR can see for everybody under HR administration, but supervisors, everything I've shown you, they have a version of theirs here on that team performance, and they can do appraisals from here, start the appraisals and schedule appraisals from appraisal window, and they can see appraisal histories from here. Okay, they can also then employees. Okay, when an appraisal is submitted and approved, employees can view their appraisal history from under my profile, from my appraisal history window. Okay, so let's go in and let's actually submit an appraisal. Okay, so appraisal history. Okay, so I have Joe Biden here. Now his is not complete, so when I try to submit it, it's gonna give me an error. So if we go to one that, let's see if we can find one that is complete. So this one seems complete. Um, all is done. So that's for George Clooney. So George Clooney here, we can go ahead and submit. And once you submit, it should go. Anyways, if everything checks out well, appraisal score was successfully submitted. So that's it. That's done, and you see it's awaiting approval. Now, I happen to be logged in as a super user, so the person, whoever is responsible for approving, for the final approval of this, when they click on actions, they will have the approve and decline button. So once that person clicks the approve button, it goes right to the system. The system stores it as a completed appraisal, and that the employee at this point will be able to see the appraisal in his My Profile window. This brings us to the end of the appraisal training video. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.